All right, guys, so these are the notes for tangent with a circle with at least two tangents. And this is when I'm going to be absent on Friday, so it is April 14th, 2023. All right, so it's a Friday, and you guys had an assembly today. Okay, it just literally moved a lot. All right. Okay, so let's remind you a couple things. So when you have a circle, a tangent is when you bring a line up to touch the circle. That's a tangent. Okay, tangent. It cannot go through the circle. That's not a tangent because it's touching it in two places. Here it touches once, twice. That's not a tangent. A tangent means the line only touches it once. So it'd be like right here. Another tangent, I could do the line in another direction, and then I gotta move the line up to touch the circle. So it's a tangent right there. If you connect it to, if you connect the line to the radius, so if you bring the radius and you connect it to the tangent, so I would connect it here, right here. Okay, it makes a 90-degree angle. Okay, I could do the same thing to the other one. So it would have to come straight down and it makes another 90-degree angle. Okay, they're making 90-degree angles. And the important thing about them is if they meet at the same spot, they're only going to meet at one place. So if you see it, they're meeting at this spot right here. Let me highlight it in green. And where are they starting from? They're starting from where they touch the circle. So really, we don't really care about the extra stuff. So we could take off some of this line a little bit, shrink it, see? And we could take off some of it on this side too. And on this side, we had extra also. So there you go. The important thing about this topic is that those two tangent lines, so this tangent line and this one over here, they're actually the same size when we took off the extra, right? If we are only talking about from starting from where it's touching the circle to where they meet, starting from where it touches the circle to where they meet, then these are the same size. So if I tell you that this line is 5 feet, then this side would also be 5 feet. They'd be exactly the same. So that's the topic of today's lesson, that if you have two tangents on the outside and they go from touching the circle to a specific point, so we're going to B, and then here we start at C from touching the circle and it goes to B, then they're the same size. And you could see that they write that there. They're talking about AB, this line, is equal to CB. And that was actually a topic on ALEKS also. And the same thing happens if you repeat the process more than once. So then on example number 10, if we have A to B is a tangent and C to B is a tangent and they're the same size, then these two equations are the same. So you're just going to put an equal sign between them and solve. Because it says the directions say assume that the segments that are tangent. So we're going to solve. We're going to solve 5x plus 23. Doesn't matter which one you write first. You can write the 8 or the 5. And it's going to be equal to 8x minus 19. And you're just going to solve. So you guys are really just going to solve. All right, so the most important part when you're solving for x, look for x. I have 5x and I have 8x. When you have two of them on both sides of the red line, then you're going to subtract because they're positive, and it's easier to subtract the small one. So 5 is smaller than 8, so we subtract 5x. 8 minus 5 is 3, and you got to write an x next to it. And bring down the negative 19, and on this side, bring down the 23. Now you ask again, where's x? X is on the right, so that means the 19 has to move to the 23. So we're going to add 19 because it had a minus. 23 plus 19 is 42. And at the end, you divide by 3. And our answer is x equals 14. Okay, that's what we get for x. The direction said find x, so we're done. Okay, if we look at the directions, they don't say find x, but obviously we have to do it. So we're gonna have to find x. Same thing applies here. We have a tangent that goes from P to Q, and we have another tangent that goes from R to Q. So because they go to the same spot, they are the same size. So we can put an equal sign between them. All right, so I'm gonna write 14x minus 13 equals 8x plus 5, and we just solve it the same exact way. Okay, if you wanna take some time to solve it, to see if you can get the same answer that I do, I would pause the video and then just forward it to see if you can get the same answer, because you wanna be testing your skills. Like, are you good at this, or do you still need practice? Okay, we have 14x and 8x. So again, pause the video, do it yourself, and then watch and see. You can forward it to the answer and see if your work was the same as mine. Maybe your work is gonna be a little bit different than mine. As long as you arrive at the same answer and you follow the correct math procedures, then your answer should be fine. 14 minus 8 is 6, subtract 13, and then bring down the 5. Okay, where's x? X is on the side with the 6 and the 13, so it means 13 has to move. So I'm gonna add 13. If you solve it different, your work is different, it's okay. And at the end, divide by 6. And our answer should be 3. The 6's cancel, 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that's the answer I get for x. Now the question didn't say find x. This question said find PQ. So we need to know how long is PQ. So from P to Q, that means you're gonna take your x and plug it into the equation with the 14. And technically it wouldn't really matter if you messed up and you plugged it into this one, it's okay because they're the same answer. You should be getting the same answer. So I'm gonna erase the x and I'm gonna put the number 3 because that's the answer that we got. You multiply 14 times 3 and you subtract 13. And I get 29. Okay, so that means PQ equals 29. So that would be my second answer. All right, so I'd be looking for those two answers, x and PQ. Okay, find SV. If we look here, we are asking to find how long is SV. All right, well, we're still gonna find x. Okay, this one has a lot of work. Which ones are equal? Well, that'd be T to S and U to S because they're tangents. They're on the outside of the circle. Those are tangents. SV is not a tangent, okay? This line is not a tangent. It's not supposed to go through the circle. It can only touch the circle on the edge, on the outside. So those two are tangents. Those are the ones that we're gonna set equal. So 4x plus 7 equals 10x minus 41. And we're gonna solve for x. Again, pause the video, do your work first, and then check if you got the same answer for x. You can forward it to just check the answer. Minus 4x minus 4x, we're gonna subtract the small x. Okay, I bring down the 7. 10 minus 4 is 6. Make sure I put x and bring down the minus 41. Now I say, where's x? X is on the right. That means the 41 has to move to the left. So a minus 41 moves by adding 41. We get 48. 41 plus 7 is 48. And at the very end, I divide by 6 to both sides. The 6's cancel. And we get x equals 8. Okay, so you should have gotten an answer of 8. Now, we're asked to find SV. So we're not done. But we had to find x. You know, it was part of it. So let's go back. If I am looking to find SV, then that means what they want you to do is they also gave you an extra number, okay? If you look around, they gave you a 17. So really, right now, I'm more concerned about that top triangle that's being built. So I want you to be able to ignore the bottom one. So I'm gonna white it out. So now this is actually a triangle that we're dealing with. Because it is a tangent, it has a 90-degree angle. So we have a 90-degree angle here. All right, and then what else can we do? We can find what number this piece is because we know the answer to x. So we're gonna erase the x and we're gonna put the answer for x that we got, which we got 8. Okay, so we're gonna put 8 in here and we're gonna do 10 times 8, which is 80, and subtract 41. So it means that s to t is 39. Okay, because you multiply these two numbers and subtract 41. S to t is 39. All right, so because I know that, again, I'm just gonna scribble this out. I don't need the equation anymore, and now I can replace it with the number 39, which is better. 39. And what side am I really looking for? The answer told me to find SV, so that's gonna now turn into my mystery number, my x. And this is Pythagorean theorem. Square, you're gonna square all of them. Square, square, square. You're gonna put a plus sign in the 90 degree, so it means you're adding the 39 and the 17. The plus sign touches those two sides, so you gotta do Pythagorean theorem now. 39 squared plus 17 squared equals x squared. And you just solve. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. 39 times 39, 17 times 17. Okay, so just use your calculator. 1,521. 289. I'm going to add them because it has a plus sign between them. 1810. And then at the end, to get rid of the squared, I square root. And I get x equals 42.5. It was a decimal. All right, there you go. So it means that SV, right here in this line, it is 42.5 long. There you go. Okay, if I move too fast, slow it down. And if I go too slow, then speed it up. All right, so for, we're finding, for number 13, you're finding the perimeter of D, E, F. You're finding the perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter means add up all the outside. You're adding up all the outside pieces. Okay, so we need to know how long each piece is to be able to do that. And here what's really going on is that you just have 3 repeated tangents. So if you look over here, we have 16, and because H goes to E and I goes to E, they're both 16. So it means this side is also 16. Same thing happened on the other one. We have 2 of them. G goes to D and H goes to D. They're both 11s. And then in the last one, we have another corner. So really what they did is they just repeated the same process 3 times. G goes to F and I goes to F. So they're the same size. So this is 9.5. So if I want to know the perimeter, I'd be adding them all up. Perimeter means you're adding up what they asked for. They only asked for D, E, F. So you're only adding the outside. All right, so I would add 16 plus 16. You're adding, right? So if I start here, I'm adding 16 plus 16. Now I'm gonna
Please transition to period 7.
9.5 plus 9.5. And then I'm gonna add 11 plus 11. You add them all up and then you'll have perimeter. And I got 73. And there you go, that's my perimeter of the triangle on the outside. Okay, this one, same thing, perimeter of a quadrilateral. So it means that you're adding up all the outside. So you should be adding up the top, the left, the right, the bottom, all of it. Okay, you're adding up only the perimeter. So again, the same thing happened, now it's 4 times. You got to pay attention because some of them are the long piece, some of them aren't. So here, I have 27 is from where the tangent is to R. So that means from the tangent to R, we have another 27.1. So this is 27.1. Now, it's interesting because they tell you that the whole thing is 52.5. So if you know that this is 52.5 and you know this is 27, you're going to subtract them. So 52.5 subtract 27.1. And we get 25. All right, we should get 25.4. And that would mean that that equals this tangent. So we get 25.4. I don't really need the big piece anymore, or you can use it. I don't know. I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to cover it. I don't need to use it. But you can keep it when you're doing perimeter. You could just add the long one. All right, on this side, we have the same thing. Okay, it's a tangent to S and a tangent to S, so it's 25.4. We have 23, so it means this is 23 also. And then for the last one, again, you just subtract. Okay, so you'd be subtracting. From here to Q and from here to Q, it's going to be the same number. But at the top, we know that the whole thing is 37. So 37.5 minus 23. Okay, so 37.5 take away 23. If you take the whole thing and you take away the 23, then it'll tell you this purple section. And we get 14.5. And again, for me, I'm just gonna hide the 37.5. You don't have to, you can keep it. And then now, all I need to do to find the perimeter is add the whole thing, add them all up. I prefer to leave it like this because you could have just added this number, and then these two numbers and these two numbers, and you'd have it. But for me, that way I don't mess it up. I know that I have to have two of these, two of these, two of these, and two of these. All right, so on the calculator, 14.5 plus 14.5 plus 27.1 plus 27.1 plus 25.4 plus 25.4 plus 23 plus 23. Okay, I know that I should have double of each one. So I prefer to just use the tangents. Plus 46. Okay, I got 180. I'm not sure if that's right, but I think so. So that would be the perimeter. And that's the perimeter of P, Q, R, and S. For the back is kind of going to be what you're responsible for. I probably might help you set up the first two, but you're definitely responsible for, well, you're responsible for the back. You know, you're responsible for the back. It's exactly like the ones that we just did. So it's like the perimeter ones at the bottom, and it's like 10 and 11. Okay, so for number 12, you want to be making them equal to one another. So you're going to make it equal. You're going to solve for X, and then when you're done, don't forget that they asked you to find WX. So you want to take your answer and plug it into 7X minus 29. For the perimeter one, you just want to take your time to find all of them. So this one's 17, this one's 17. What else? This is 2.5, this is 2.5. And for the rest of them, you're going to have to subtract. If you know that the whole thing is 29 and you know that the left is 17, then you subtract them and you'll find the right side. So 29 minus 17, and so on. Right? And you should be able to find it, so then you'll know that side too. And then you do the same thing with the 20. And then you add them all up. All right, so you're finishing the back, so you are gonna turn in the worksheet when I come back. So that'd be Tuesday, cause Monday's an I day. And then there's also an Alex assignment for you to do. The Alex assignment is from the last video, like it's the same work where it's the exact same work as this one. This is your Alex assignment. So it's kind of, I mean, the best way I can describe it, it is like this one right here. Okay, so you should be able to complete the Alex. If you are lost on the Alex, then go watch the last video. That's called Subtangents, and just fast forward it to the end because I show you how to do 2 Alex assignments. All right, see you Tuesday.